is never subjected to the conditioning of the living beings on this earth. He is never subjected to the conditioning of the living beings of this earth. Just as the water that overflows a river can never be conditioned by a river, so also the wave of life through a period of centuries can never be conditioned or measured by the living beings who live in that particular wave. So the scriptures say finally like this: according to the human psychology and the tendencies of the human beings on this earth, we can say that the human beings behave in such a way through centuries. We can say how they create their own stories in the cyclic manner. But at the same time, every human being is capable of transcending his own tendencies. For example, if I am hungry, I am to eat by 9 o'clock in the night. If we are sitting and making a conference, I keep off until 10 or 11 or 12 according to the situation needed. And I don't mind doing it. And every one of us is capable of doing it. Similarly, we are defective in our own way according to our psychology. But when we are raised by a particular situation, it takes no time for us to live above and beyond our defects. So, the tendencies of the human being are conditioned by his own self-conditioning. And when once the situation arises, man finds himself beyond conditioning. Just as a husband and a wife who are angry to each other in the house, who do not prefer to talk to each other, when they hear that there is an earthquake or the ocean is gaining land into their city, immediately they join hands together and run. Similarly, the animal nature of the human being can be transcended within a second or a minute, because behavior is true only as long as the situation doesn't arise. Everyone can make himself better when the situation arises. For this reason, there will be horrible situations in the individual lives. For example, I may lose my job many times, which means that the horoscope indicates that I am only idiotic and headstrong, to indicate that I do not befit the society of the day, and also to indicate that I should try to make myself fit, more and more fit to live in the society. So the prediction is always conditioned. The prophecy is always conditioned by the human will. So in the scriptures everywhere it is said like this: the world is going to meet, the mankind is going to meet its end like this. But if humanity learns wisdom by experience, and if humanity can understand what had happened in the past centuries, and understand how man many times developed many sciences on this earth, and how there was many times the new age to the human being of every century, just as we boast of that we are entering into a new age, just as every young man entering into his age of sex may think that his parents who are old do not know much about sex. It is but natural for the young man of every century to feel and boast that he is entering into the new age, the Aquarian age. But many hundreds of times mankind has entered into the new age in every century. And sometimes the progress of mankind was very speedy and sometimes very sluggish. The ascending and descending arcs of creation are always there, and we can understand how the two modulate. But at the same time, to predict and say that this is infallible is not at all true. The moment mankind learns through experience and see how the previous waves of humanity have grown more and more advanced in sciences and developed more and more in civilization and developed their own weapons and warfare many hundreds of times and killed themselves on this earth many hundreds of times. Because, as Bernard Shaw remarks, the human species is the only species among the fauna and flora of this earth that is most unpredictable. It does not know how it kills itself. The tendency of suicide on an individual scale and a mass scale exists only in the human kingdom and no other animals on this earth. So, if mankind knows this, the prophecies go wrong. Because man is more important than prophecy. Man is more important than his pride to predict. And if we see the books of great seers who have predicted like H.G. Wells, we see the same remarks. No one can be a greater predictor than H.G. Wells about the shape of things to come. To the detail, he has predicted how man goes to the moon and other planets, how he transmits his messages. Even the details he has described came true scientifically. And he said, these predictions exist only as long as man is a behaving animal. He says that there is something which makes man open his eye. And the moment he opens his eye, he knows that he is more valuable than anything created by himself. And he can never be an idiot to believe that what he has created is more valuable than himself. So, the prophecies we see now may come true. The cities, big cities, may be destroyed. It is a possibility. And nations going to war, it is a possibility. And the war would take place somewhere near the Suez Canal. It is a possibility. And the war, the main issue of the war will be the inflammable oil. It may be a probability. But mankind can see that all these things are a big zero. Because the common sense of man is always better than the tendencies and the animal behavior of the human being. If we accept that there is nothing more sacred than the common sense of man, and if we have a free thinking without fooling ourselves within many other things different from common sense, we know that there is a 50% chance for the mankind to save itself. And always the key lies with the human being. So it is for us to decide if the predictions come true or not. This is what the astrologers of the ancient nations say. This is what the Old Testament says. This is what the Mahabharata says. This is what H.G. Wells said. And this is what Kiro said. And this appears to be reasonable to my mind also. And we can have any conversations or questions and answers about the reliable branches of the subject. This is all what I wanted to tell you, communicate to you today. The sum and substance is, let us know our duty and our responsibility more than the prediction we have before our eyes. Instead of working hard to see that the prophecies and predictions should come true, by hastening the war and the sensational way of our understanding, and by killing each other, Is it not better for us to see what we have to do and believe that it is more valuable than the predictions given? Thank you all. Yes, astrology is one of the main keys which give us the true clues to understand heredity. And another clue is palmistry and phrenology, which give us a better understanding of the anthropology of the particular individual. So there are many keys to know heredity, and astrology is only one. We have to synthesize the many subjects to know a human being much, because man is a synthesis of all his aspects. He cannot be formulated independently either by the theory of heredity or astrology. But when both are put together, we can understand him a little more. Yes, heredity forms a part of the tendency which determines the character. For example, it gives us an idea of a bit of the karma of his race and the karma of his nation. But there is an element in man which can always transcend these things. And when once that faculty is awakened in the individual is beyond heredity also. So only under the given circumstances it is true that either astrology or palmistry can give us some predictions about the individual. But the moment the person has a vision of the all existence and the omnipresence of one existence, he is beyond behavior and his heredity cannot condition him. Yes, true initiations into oneself, that is, the true spiritualism makes a man one consciousness among everyone. For example, we can't expect Master Moria or Kuthumi, Master Jwalkol to behave according to their own astrology, horoscope, because they have known a continuous life. Yes, a continuity of their purpose and their identity through at least a minimum period of 5,000 years till now. But during this period, they had many hundreds of bodies, births and deaths. But they remember themselves and their purpose. Each of their birth gives a different horoscope. Each horoscope differs from the other very much. But their purpose never differed through 5,000 years. So we can understand that the horoscope is an atrophy or a defunct. That's only a symbol. Yes. When a person is too much lacking in willpower and lacking too much in the seed of self-development, you can use hypnosis continuously for months or years to make the individual germinate his own seed of self-creation, to make him realize that he can be a different person. And thereby you can cure many types of manifestations of hysteria and many headaches and many types of anxiety complexes. Because when one knows that he can better himself, all the psychological diseases disappear to him. And that is the most valuable help that hypnotism can give to medicine. And my experience tells me that it is true and it comes true. I myself could induce many people into self-creation. I found them in the beginning that had no belief at all about self-creation. In the beginning, to the core, they were insincere and immoral enough to believe that whatever is to happen will happen. And they never accepted to believe that they could better themselves. Because for the simple secret of having an indulgence in the type of life they are leading. They wished to believe that they could not better themselves because it was their sweet indulgence. You will accept, I hope, that there will be no worse state to a human mind than that. And such people, they lived with me for 3, 4, 5 or 6 or 7 years. Some of them still live with me as dynamic workers for themselves. They find not only themselves but their family and environment bettered by their presence. While some of them, after a certain amount of growth, have reacted against me and went away from me only to create themselves better, and they made themselves independent. Whether they are with me or they reacted against me, it doesn't matter much. But the hypnosis I used for them is fruitful. It healed them of their many types of complexes. And now they live as pure practicalists without any complexes at all. That is my experience. Yes, as you find the more and more speedy planets in the horoscope, they work more and more upon more number of individuals on this earth. The speediest of all the bodies, the moon, works upon everyone in our horoscope, so that we can't find anyone on this earth upon whom the moon is not working. And as the planet is slow and slow in his action, we find that the planet is more concerned with the group work than the individual work. For example, Jupiter is not so much concerned with individuals as moon is concerned. Saturn is not so much concerned as Jupiter or moon or Mars are concerned. So, as a planet is found in the outer and outer orbits of the solar system and giving a bigger and a bigger cycle of its journey in the horoscope, we find that the planet is more and more important in the function of creation and evolution, and the planet is more concerned with the groups than individuals. When you are leading 100 groups to better the world, you will be able to meet only the leaders of the groups to give the plan. It is not possible to meet every individual of the country you rule, even though all the people of the country want to see their own ruler and talk to him. So, Jupiter is belonging to group work and Saturn is belonging to a higher side of group work. And there are lesser and lesser number of persons who are personally and individually influenced by these planets, as much as they are influenced by moon or sun or Mars. The degree of influence will be reduced, so that Uranus works upon less number of individuals, Neptune works upon much less number of individuals, and Pluto far much less number of individuals. Unless the responsible degrees of the horoscope fall upon that planet, unless the important degrees of the horoscope fall upon that particular planet, we cannot expect that Pluto works upon the individual according to the individual requirements of that person. Conjunction, yes. If Pluto is in perfect conjunction with moon or ascendant or 7th house or 10th house or 4th house, then the person is a chosen one to do something either good or bad to the human society. Upon him the planet Pluto works, and his daily movements and his daily fate is conditioned by Pluto. In others, you don't find the influence of Pluto upon the personal affairs of the individual. So, first of all, make an estimate of the horoscope if it belongs to the individual level or the group work. If the person exists on the individual or animal level, the planets work as masters and lead the individuals like dogs by chains of iron, because they lead the individuals by their own tendency. But instead of belonging to the individual plane, if the horoscope belongs to a personality level, which is far much more evolved than the individual level, that is what we call the civilized mind of the human being, the educated man, the commercial man, the thinker and the philosopher. Then the planets work as to induce certain good values into the mind. And if the horoscope belongs to a still higher plane, which is called the soul consciousness or group consciousness, which is greater than the personality consciousness. Personality consciousness is much greater than the individual consciousness, because individual consciousness is animal consciousness, which has everything to do with the food, drink, sleep and sex of the individual. But the personality consciousness has the commercial and the educational values developed. The soul consciousness is the final goal of human consciousness, and the owner of the consciousness has no body of his own. He works through many thousands of bodies, and he will be able to conduct what is called group work or soul work. If the horoscope belongs to the one who is in group work, then Pluto works completely upon his horoscope. You will find the fullest expression of the action of Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. That can be understood by a beautiful trine aspect or a beautiful sextile aspect between Pluto and his moon or his ascendant. Of course, that belongs to the group of people who are born in that month. So it is more generalized. But it has an influence upon the person, not so much as the one who is having the moon trine Pluto. Like that you have to estimate the horoscope if it is in the individual level or personality level or soul level. Then you can have an estimate of the action of Pluto. As far as the astrology based on the scriptures is concerned, the Occidental and the Oriental astrology deal with equal efficiency upon the cosmic planes. For example, astrologers like Kiro, Alan Leo, Safariel, Max Hindale and their disciples, they know the astrology of the ancients. And this astrology deals with the cosmic values of existence. And the ancient Indian astrology has another dimension also, which we call the astrology of the fixed stars, of the groups of constellations put together, which we call the great tortoise. The great tortoise. The tail of the tortoise starts with a star which is beyond the pole star, and the 7 stars of the polar bear are included in the left hind leg of the tortoise, left hind leg. And the various constellations we see in the sky from our north to our south of the skies, they include the total body of the tortoise. It is this astrology that makes us understand the wisdom of the bigger cycles of creation. For example, the rise and fall of nations can never be known by the 12 signs and this 12 planets. And it is the fixed stars that give us the real clues of astrology through centuries and thousands of years. The allegories of the Puranas or the ancient scriptures of India were composed on this basis, and this aspect of astrology is a new dimension to the Occident. Unfortunately, to the Orientals also it is a lost book. Many of the keys have been lost by traditional scholars of India. From my childhood till now, I have gathered as many keys as possible about the branch of astrology.